So the litigation and transactional immersions that we're mainly talking about today are a part of a much larger project that we're engaged in here at Washington and Lee. We have revamped the third-year curriculum so that the students take an entire credit load of experiential education courses. That's happened 3 years ago now. The first 2 years of it were optional. Students could decide to take it or not. And over 2/3, nearly 3/4 of them decided to take it. So they apparently wanted something like this, even though they didn't come to the law school expecting it. The year we're in right now, 2011-2012, is the first year in which it's required for all students, and going forward it will continue to be required for all third-year students. The curriculum is essentially made up of a number of parts. And the immersions that we're going to be talking about mostly this morning are sort of the opening act for each of the semesters, fall and spring. After the immersions take place, the 2-week set aside of time that we work on the immersions, the students then are enrolled in either live client clinics or elaborate simulation courses that we call practicums. In those practicums, they are placed into the role of a lawyer in a particular practice setting. So we have practicums called things like corporate counsel practicum. We have practicums that are called poverty law litigation practicum. We have practicums that are called the lawyer for failed businesses. So in the last of those three, the student is placed in the role of a lawyer who's representing a failing business. And along the semester, they are guided by their instructor to do a wide range of activities that are the core things that a bankruptcy lawyer, an advisor of a failing business, would do for their client. Along the way, as you might imagine, they have to learn a lot of bankruptcy law. But I like to think that they learn law in our third-year curriculum the way lawyers do, rather than the way students do. So what really happens is that the students have a client and they have to solve a problem or engage in some representation activity for that client, and the law they learn has the purpose of solving those problems for those simulated clients. When they learn law that way, they have the kind of golden opportunity to cognitively learn something and apply it almost in the same motion. And educational theorists have long said that that's the way to learn. If you can acquire the cognitive knowledge and use it almost immediately, there's a kind of learning down to the core that doesn't always happen in a pure classroom setting. So what happens in many of the practicum situations in our third-year curriculum is that the students are faced with a challenge of learning about an area of the law that they may have only modest exposure to at that point, and they have to go out, research it, understand it. They can talk with their supervisor about it. They can have a mentor give them feedback about how they're doing in learning what they need to learn. And inevitably, because these are client problems, either real client problems in the clinics or simulated client problems in the practicums, inevitably those problems cross subject matter lines. In law school, in regular courses, we tend to try to keep our focus on only corporations, only evidence, only trusts. And that's as it should be. That's how regular courses in law school should be. It's how I teach my regular courses in law school. But the students in the third-year curriculum get to see that we don't live in silos. You know, law problems don't exist in a silo. They exist in a way that requires them to understand when they're doing a securities problem that there might be some tort aspects to it, that there might be some tax aspects to it. A variety of different areas will come together. And so they have to do what lawyers do, which is to incorporate those areas. Sometimes they have to go seek an expert in one of those areas to help them understand it well, as a lawyer might do in practice. And they get that experience in many of our third-year curriculum courses.